I'm Dante,
And hey, I'm Dana.
and welcome to the Donta Show.
What's up, Village? It's your boy Kwame, the man with the plan behind the stands. Before we get into it, do me a favor. If you are on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, or whatever, hit that share button so people can see what the fuss is all about. Don't worry if it's the end of the show, they can catch the replay. We're trying to spread the love instead of spreading the lies, y'all. All right, let's get into it. Did you know that our boy Dante Morrison is a best-selling author? Do you like smut? Yes, smut. Well, these books are filled with it. Check out The End of the Rainbow, followed by the sequel, Yesterday Clarified. You can get them on Amazon, or if you are tired of giving Jeff Bezos the time of day, you can visit www.dantemorrison.com, where, in fact, you will find out more about the motivational, inspirational, hilarious host known as Dante, Mr. Morrison if you're nasty. He is not only the host of TDS, he is a public health advocate, motivational speaker, and community change agent. Articles, interviews, blogs, podcasts, vlogs, and more. You name it, and Dante has done it. Speaking of vlogs, have you subscribed to the Donta Show YouTube? Now, every villager should be subscribed. The more the channel grows, the bigger TDS messaging becomes. It's really simple. Go to www.youtube.com/Dante Morrison. And also, did you want to be a guest on the Donta Show, or do you want to book Dante or Dana on your platform? Stop. Don't inbox him, don't email him, or even call him. You know what you need to do? Go ahead and open your handy-dandy smartphone or Wi-Fi enabled device and send an email to info@pyromedianetwork.com and request your presence on the show. It's 2021, y'all, and Dante and Dana has got management. So, let's conduct business. Speaking of management, the Donta Show is produced by Pyro Media Network. We are a Black-owned digital marketing and video production agency helping businesses and brands make an impact with their message. We also help businesses navigate what we call the biggest communication shift in over 500 years, social media. So, if you have a business, brand, or influence, and you want to take it to the next level, contact us today. All right, y'all. Thank you for joining us tonight, and we hope to see you on the next. Boom.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Donta Show. It is Tuesday, Taco Tuesday without the tacos. Dana, you're muted. Unmute your phone. It is Taco Tuesday without the tacos, and we are here. And look who's back, y'all. Look who is back.
Thank you, ladies. Ladies, I know you missed me. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Dante? What's up, Village? Your boys back.
What up, Dana? How was your Monday, man? We didn't have you here for Who You Got.
Hey, man, I was watching on location, and check it out, man. Who You Got was the business, and my Monday was great. Trust me, I'm not gonna say it on air right now, but you already know.
Yeah, don't tell the folks yet. Don't tell the folks yet. Let them be surprised.
It's too soon to tell. I'll tell when it get closer to the date. All I know is me and my partner, we got something going. We got something in the fire ready to be cooked.
Most def. And we didn't get to say it because you wasn't here yesterday. But look, y'all, my co-host had a birthday last week. He had a birthday last week. So let's give a great big happy birthday to my co-host, the man with the plan, Dana DNA, the voice. Happy birthday, happy belated birthday. I'm not gonna tell your age, I'm gonna let the folks guess. So if y'all want to take a guess at how old Dana is, go ahead and type it in the comment section. Guess Dana's age, guess Dana's age, guess Dana's age. But Dana's birthday was last week. We didn't get to have a big celebration because it didn't fall on the day of one of our live shows. But my boy turned a year older last week. So I thank God for another turnaround.
Yes.
The son is still here. He is still here. Yes, give him praise, Dana. Give him praise. Give him praise. Give him praise.
Hey,
give him praise.
But what I'm gonna do, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put my Cash App in there, you know what I'm saying, in case some of my fans wanna
Bless you.
wanna bless me. There's my Cash App right there for the people, you know what I'm saying? Anybody feel like sending your boy $2 or something, you know what I'm saying? You know, let's go. Let's go.
Right, and so far, no one has guessed your age right. No one has guessed your age. I guess you look good for your age.
Hey, how do you know if it's right? One of them may have it right. What are you doing, man? One of them may have said it.
My bad.
All right.
My bad. What's up?
That's right, Jerome got it. Jerome got the right. That's my writing partner, right? That's my writing partner right there. Yeah, Ron.
All right, Jerome. Yeah, you want to stay booked. I get it. What's up, Lanice? What's up, right, bud? What's up, Danny? Hey, Pam. What up, fam? Shatsy lady over there on YouTube. So, yo, check out the Donta Show on YouTube. If you have not subscribed yet, make sure to go to youtube.com/Donta Morrison. Hit that like button. Subscribe. While you are watching the show right now, go ahead and tag some folks in the comment section. Get some folks up in here. Tonight's show is going to be bananas. But before we get into tonight's show, you all know February is Black History Month.
Yes.
But we are in March, right? So we are Black 365. Black 365. What's up, Arsenio? We are Black 365.
That's Arsenio Hall? Arsenio Hall?
No, hands down. I wish.
Oh, I was like, hey, yo, we got people. I know we famous, but geez, come on, Arsenio.
We are Black 365. I love that trade. Melanin March. Right. Melanin March. So with that being said, every episode we shout out a Black icon, a Black history maker, a Black legend. And tonight is no different. So Dana, take it away. Go ahead, fam.
What's going on, beautiful people? Tonight we're going to shout out Amelia Boynton Robinson. Amelia Boynton Robinson has been recognized for her tireless civil rights advocacy in recent years, including a portrayal in 2014 Selma, but many may not know just how pivotal a figure she was. Boynton Robinson began her civil rights activism in the 1930s when she started advocating for voting rights after becoming one of the few African-American women registered to vote in Selma, Alabama. Boynton Robinson became the first African-American woman in Alabama to run for Congress in 1964. And the following year, she helped Martin Luther King Jr. plan the march from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama, from March 7th to 1965, known as Bloody Sunday. Boynton Robinson and the roughly 600 demonstrators were forcefully attacked by state troopers with tear gas, billy clubs, and whips. Boynton Robinson was hospitalized after the march, and a horrific photo of her injuries was widely circulated. Later in 1965, Boynton Robinson was invited to the White House when President Lyndon B. Johnson signed the Voting Rights Act, and in 1990, she received the Martin Luther King Jr. Freedom Medal. Let's give it up for Amelia Boynton Robinson. Give her some love, y'all. Show her some love.
Yes,
may she rest
queen.
in heavenly peace.
Yes, queen. Yes, queen. Yes, queen. Talk about people that have paved the way for us to be here, paved the way for us to have some of the things that we have. So give it up. We cannot forget about our icons, our history makers, those that took one, took two, took three to the head just so we can have freedom and liberties. So, yo, it's really about that. We got to make it happen. All right.
Yes.
Hey, so y'all know what happens now. This is when I bow out and my boy takes over because it's time for the what?
It's time for the Dana Drive. Let's go, baby. Boom. Ladies, I am back. What? Hold on, give me a second. I got to do my drop, and then I'll be right with you. All right. Hey, check it out. Like Kwame said at the beginning of the show, please go and subscribe to our YouTube page. Is youtube.com/Donta Morrison. Click the subscribe button, share it, tell a friend, tell a cousin, tell a loved one. Hey, we're trying to get our numbers up so we can start getting that quiz out. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. Hey, right now what we're going to talk about is reasons to stop caring about what people think. Here are a few reasons to stop caring about what people think. You have to look in the mirror. One reason you should stop caring about what people think about you is because no one else is your judge. I'll say that one more time. No one else is your judge. Whether you are a business owner, an entrepreneur, you define the ethics and values. You define your own destiny. Stop caring about what people think. Other people do not know you. It does not pay to care too much about other people's opinions of you because no one truly knows you. Spend time every day getting to know yourself. I'm not talking about in the, touching and agreeing way. I'm just saying spend time every day getting to know yourself. Think about what matters most to you. Reflect on your own history and how you have grown and evolved as a person. Your creativity overflows. No one can hold you back. I'll say that one more time. No one, and I'll add this in there, no one but you can hold you back. When it comes to your imaginations, when it comes to your creativity, when it comes to your gifts and blessings, no one can hold you back but you. Also, only you know what inspires you and what drives you. No one can read your mind. Only you know what inspires you and drives you. That's unless you give that person the information on what drives you and what inspires you. But until then, no one knows that. You define success with your goals. Spend time writing down your goals so you are more aware of what you want in life and what you want in your business, if that's what you're going into. It doesn't matter if someone else thinks you should go here or go this way or go that way. It's your own path. It's your path. And you're the only one at the end of the day that's going to have to travel that path alone. I guarantee you, I know it. You're the only one that's going to have to travel that path alone. Eventually, like I did, years will pass and things will happen and you'll meet a good business partner and someone that'll travel that road with you. But at the beginning, you're going to be traveling alone until God opens those doors and those opportunities for you to walk through them, because there are going to be a lot of closed doors in your life. But all it takes is that one door for you to run through and run away from the ones that are closing. Other people have baggage. I'll say that again, including us. Always remember, other people have baggage. Other people project their issues on you because they are not as aware about who they are and where they have been. If you worry about what others think, you are wasting time, because they could be just criticizing you and trying to get you upset for something that they couldn't do or they regret doing. Remember that. People tend to try to hate on you because they're jealous of you, or they're trying to criticize you and deter you from getting to your bag and your goal because they couldn't do it, or they couldn't figure out the way that you did it and they failed at it. Who cares what they think? Stay the course. You control your own feelings. Contrary to popular belief, people cannot make you feel a certain way about yourself. I'll say that one more time. Excuse me. Contrary to popular belief, people cannot make you feel a certain way about yourself. Only you can allow them and give them the power to make you feel a certain way about yourself. You have to allow someone to upset you. You have to allow someone to make you happy. They can't do it unless you allow them to. You decide how to respond to what others say about you, whether it be good, whether it be bad. You have the power and the control over what happens to you. Choose to turn a negative into a positive or an opportunity to a situation to learn to grow. You can't read minds. It is foolish to care about what other people think about you. It is foolish. Many people lie, deceive others because they don't know how they are or who they are. Okay? Stop letting people control your situation and your narrative. Be the controller of your own life, your own destiny. Walk your own path and allow in who you want to allow in. And don't let others control your feelings and your reactions. Because not every action deserves a reaction. Sometimes silence can be violence. Sometimes not saying anything will make somebody feel stupid. And then they're tripping and wondering like, wow, did I upset them? Did I say something? They don't know. Stop letting people control you. Be your own boss. Do you, move how you move, and get to the bag, because we on our way to getting ours. All right? That's the Dana Drop, and I'm out. Peace.
Good drop. And it was like really on time for tonight's show. Tonight's show is going to be great. It's going to be informative. It's going to be eye-opening. It's going to be inspiring. And I'm excited to get into the conversation. So let's get it. So listen, tonight's guest is Derek Baugh. Derek is a native of Atlanta and graduate of Georgia State University. He is a staunch advocate for many disenfranchised communities, most notably the transgender community, as well as those affected by HIV. Derek works to increase knowledge and visibility for the trans community by advocating for the inclusion of Black trans men, especially in conversation and spaces where healthcare is a topic. He also works to create unique programming and opportunities that serve to elevate the voices and increase the visibility of trans men. Derek is the co-founder and CEO of Ubuntu Incorporated. And with that being said, Donta Show Village, please welcome to the show for the very first time, the incomparable Derek Baugh. Derek.
Good afternoon. No, good evening.
It's evening. It's nighttime, actually. So good night. Just good night. Good night. What's up, Derek? Welcome to the Donta Show. We are glad to have you. We appreciate you. We appreciate you.
I'm glad to be here. Yeah, it's good to be here. Excited to talk with you all.
Yeah, so it's what are you, 11 o'clock right now, 11:20?
Yes, 11:20.
All right.
Let the Lord use you, son. Let the Lord use you. Let the Lord. Hey,
emphasis. So, Derek, hey, let's get into this conversation because I believe it's going to be rich, it's going to be meaty, and it's going to be very just insightful. And I'm honestly excited. I'm excited because I love having conversations about subjects that we rarely talk about within the Black community. You know, and you are someone that I have kind of followed on social media. I've seen you on another show that The Link, which is what I oversee on my professional life, but my personal show is all about me and how I want to have these conversations. So I want us to just get into it and just go, and we're going to talk about it. I asked a question in the chat to see if anyone would know, because that's one of our talking points. Here's the question. Does anyone know what an intersectional identity is? Does anyone know what an intersectional identity is? And if you do not know, you are going to learn on tonight. So buckle up, you know, and let's get ready. So Derek, let's just start off, you know, with you, who you are, what you're all about, and then we can get into our four very rich questions.
Sure. So since you asked the question in the comment about what an intersectional identity is, I think it's fitting to start with that, right? So the best way that I can explain it is by thinking of myself as first, I'm Black. That's the first thing you see, right? But things that you don't know about me or you may not know is that I am a man of transgender experience. I am a community leader. I am like all of these different things. So it's at the point that all of those things intersect and make up who I am. Those are all of my intersectional identities. Those are all the things that make me up as a person.
And I think that's something that basically a lot of people of color can kind of fit into those categories. Is that fair to say? As we navigate our journey, some things, like me, I'm gay. So I have to deal with the gay experience on one side, then the Black experience, and those intersects. And there's things that I may experience, the Black part of me, I may go through the racism and all that. But I still have those other parts that a heterosexual man may not have to deal with. Like certain things Dana, as a heterosexual Black man, won't deal with.
Mm-hmm.
A gay Black man or a trans Black man would deal with. So right now on this screen, people are seeing 3 totally different identities, which is,
absolutely
excellent, for visibility purposes, because oftentimes people will look and they will assume something, and not know that all three of us have different challenges in our existence.
Absolutely. And I think what it made me think about when you said that is like, I can go, like, I'm a Black person. I grew up in the church, right? And so a lot of things that I experience as a Black trans person, my church family doesn't necessarily understand. But even though they don't understand things that I experience as a Black trans person, a lot of my Black trans family understands things that I experienced in the church, because a vast majority of us have experienced those things, be it discrimination or people just saying, oh, well, I just don't understand, and I thought you was just gay, and why you can't just do this, and why you got to do all of that. So we can all collectively understand those experiences, even though people who I may share DNA, skin color, other social identities with, it's not cohesive for them.
So as your experience, do you ever find yourself tugging between one, I guess I'll say, identity, and which one you need to focus on more at the time?
Sometimes I find myself doing that, and I have to like center myself and just remember who I am and whose I am and where I belong, that type of thing. Because a lot of times in Black community, unfortunately, your Blackness is diminished by things like your sexuality, by things like your gender identity, or your aspirations in life, or it can be even fighting for your own Black excellence, because I talk a lot about how Black excellence looks different to different people. If a lot of times what I found is if my Black excellence doesn't look like your Black excellence, then you don't think it's Black excellence. And so I find that there's a lot of gridlock there too.
Okay.
Because I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dana. Go ahead.
No, I'm glad you explained that, because I was getting ready to ask, what is transgender experience? You said you were a person of transgender experience. I didn't know what that meant. Now, my comedian side would have went to, you tried some trans, or I didn't know. So I'm glad
what's your experience? Right.
Yeah.
Right.
What's your experience with a trans person? But you explained it. So
that's just another way of identifying that I am a transgender man. People may say I'm a transgender person. I'm a person of transgender experience.
Right.
There's different ways to say it. Got you.
I didn't ask because you answered it, but a lot of people on here probably didn't know what you meant when you said experience, because it kind of threw me for a loop. But thank you for explaining that.
No problem.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that, Dana, because me, by somebody that works in the community, works in LGBT health and all that, there is some dialect that I'm constantly hearing.
Right.
I'm like, everybody know that, right? Everybody. But I forget the world does not exist in the world that I live in or work in on a day-to-day. So I'm glad you asked that, because I'm looking at the comments and everybody's real quiet tonight. They're quiet. Normally the thread be popping.
Yeah,
I just sitting back like, God, I want to ask a question, but I don't know what to ask. So if you have questions on tonight, you know, this is how we learn. So Dana and I create the Donta Show because we want the community to come together as a village. All right.
Right.
We know there are topics that everybody's not going to agree on. Everybody's not going to understand. Everybody's not going to get it. But in your getting, at least get some understanding and some insight, you know. So I love the fact that we're having this conversation. So Derek, have you, and I'm asking this because I got stuck. I know that we had a lot of civil unrest in 2020. You know, and when it came to being a Black man, you know, there was a lot of movement, you know, by the Black community. But it seemed like then we had the transgender community that was suffering the same, if not worse, violence, you know, and death and murder and all that. Were you ever, that was my question, kind of, were you ever torn? You know, because I used to sit back and be like, you know, but they killing gay folks too, and y'all ain't doing it with the Black gay man dies and Ed Buck, and y'all ain't said nothing, you know, but now I got to run and protest with Black Lives Matter over here, but Black Lives Matter over here. You know, were you ever in that conundrum of like, Black people, yo, what's going on?
So the irony of that statement is that the whole Black Lives Matter movement was started by Black queer women.
Right.
And it just has been so overtaken by this Black cis heteronormity, and that is just so it's exhausting and it's heavy. And I think my existence as a Black person in America, a large majority of it, especially because like I'm conscious and I know what's going on around me, it's heavy. And so to answer your question, I guess, like, yes, I definitely felt torn in a sense of like, how can you fight for some of the people, but not all of the people? Because none of us is free unless all of us is free. And that's one of the major keys to liberations that I think we as a people constantly miss. Black trans women are at the helm of every movement, even as these things were going on in the summer with the George Floyd protest. There was a case of a young lady, a Black trans woman named Ayanna Dior, and she was beaten mercilessly and surrounded by this circle of Black cisgender men and cisgender women who beat this young girl mercilessly for whatever reason they had made up after she was leaving a protest,
right?
For George Floyd.
And
so the irony of that is so we're good enough to march with you. We're good enough to march with you, but that's it. That's where it ends. We had at the same time, right before, right after George Floyd, we had Tony McDade, a Black trans man who was also killed by the police, and there were no tables shaken. There were a lot of CBOs who made noises, community-based organizations who made noise and shook tables, and there was, you know, the Human Rights Campaign who came out and had something to say. But other than that, we don't get the same clapback, the same table shaking. Things don't change like that for Black trans people, because oftentimes we're told it's not your time. That's not our thing. You need to wait. And there's a famous speech by Martin Luther King, and it's saying something like the most dangerous thing to Black people's freedom is the white liberal telling Black people to just wait. And it feels very much the same to me.
Wow.
And that's what upsets me. And everybody, all of our village, you know, they already know where I stand. Bullying anybody, everybody's human. If the world would just look at everybody as human beings and not what their preference is, I mean, you're a human being. You're a person. You live and breathe just like I do. You know, and if they think about it, and if everyone comes from a place of love first, it wouldn't be any issues with anything. And that's the problem. People are leaving love out. People are leaving respect out. People are leaving, you know, what if they did this to your family member? Or what if this was your family member? You know what I'm saying? How would you feel? You know, and right now, Derek, I love you, man. you know, because you're a person and you're a human being and you have feelings. And I wouldn't want anything to happen to you because of someone's beliefs, or if someone wanted to do something to you because of, you know, because of yourself. And that's not fair. That is not fair, because again, you already have so much going against you. You're a black person. I mean, that's 1 to 100 on its own. Then we start at 101. You know, that's when everything falls under 101. You know, we got to get past the 100 black things that were getting thrown at us first and foremost. So to have to live your life in fear, have to constantly watch over your back and your shoulders like you're a freaking criminal. You know, if somebody's going to run up on you and hit you or do it, that's not fair and it's not right. No one should have to live their life in fear. And that just upsets me.
And I think a lot of it, honestly, what we have to understand is that race, sexual orientation, all of that is a social construct.
Yeah.
And social constructs are created to give another party privilege over someone else. You know, so when you think about racism, it's a construct to give white people privilege over black people or brown people or whatever. We think about you know, people that are homophobic, are not, I won't say homophobic, but sexual orientation. It's marginalization. So
no, you said it right. Homophobic.
Yeah, to make
say it for what it is.
Cisgender individuals or heterosexual individuals greater than transgender individuals or homosexual individuals. It's a construct of control. It's to make someone feel inferior to the next. It's just all by design. But like you said, Dana, at the root of it, we all bleed red. Yeah. You know, if we get shot, we all gonna die. You know, 'cause we're all human. We're all made up of the same organs, bones, everything. But we have to put together some kind of way to make someone better than the other.
And the crazy part about it, all of us entrepreneurs and people on the thread and people out here in the world that are looking for investors and things like that. If somebody writes you a $2 million check, and then you find out they're a transgender person, I don't want to get in trouble for saying it wrong, but a transgender male or female, I won't say person, but if you find out that they're a transgender male or female, are you going to give that damn check back? No, you're not.
Right, because the money's still green.
Yeah, but you have different. Come on, man. With that,
I think it's a perfect, and to give you a little. I think that you saying transgender person is perfectly fine, because at the end of the day, I'm a person. And as Dante pointed out, gender is a social construct, and somebody may be a transgender person and not identify as male or female, and that's mind-blowing to people. But people are non-binary,
right?
People are gender non-conforming. People have all gender and sexuality are spectrums. And people can move all along, up and down. And as Black folks, we have to give people the freedom. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want people like restricting you, so you let me be me, and I'm not hurting you. You know,
at the end of the day, it's 2021. Let that old 1940 and 20 stuff go. Let it go, because people don't care. People don't care. I'm just being straight up 100 honest.
It's not even that people don't care.
I mean, people. What I'm saying, people don't care as far as care about you guys. I'm sorry, care about someone's sexuality or their preference or whatever. No one cares. Well, who's sleeping with who is who? Who cares? It's 2021.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not so much even that people don't. It's like y'all were talking about like things without love, right?
Yeah.
And I think so much of it. Like, I remember my first Pride that my wife took me to, and there were these hate preachers across the street, and they were giving out these pamphlets, and the pamphlet said, "Have I become your enemy by telling you the truth, even though I'm doing it in love?" Some crazy shit like that, and I was just like this isn't love. Like, I'm a kid, and you're hurling this hate at me. You're cloaking this hate under the guise of love, but it's not love. It's not tradition. Like, it's not anything. It's just hate. And it's like, but you're trying to convince me that it's love. Like, well, you know, love the sinner, hate the sin. Like, that's not love. That's like, I love you even though, like, and people don't understand the parallels of how homophobia and transphobia are directly, like, they look exactly like racism in a different form, and people get mad when you make that comparison, but it's very similar. Yeah.
So Derek, with that, you talk about shifting the narratives of the black man. Can you elaborate on what you mean by that?
I'm sorry. Can you say that again?
What happened? Did you doze off?
I was reading a comment.
Did your wing stop arrive?
Oh my God. This is Georgia. Everything's closed.
No, you talk about shifting the narratives of the black man.
Okay.
Do you want to let's dive into that? What do you mean by that?
So Carter Brown, who's the executive director of Black Trans Advocacy Coalition, and if you hadn't heard of that, it's a fabulous conference for people to go to, especially those of us who are first transitioning and really need a space to come into contact with other Black trans people, so you know you're not alone in the world and you have family. But one of my first interactions with Carter was this conversation about how, as a Black trans man, we really get to kind of shift the narrative or create the narrative of what it means to be our own Black man. And it can look a lot of different ways. One of the first ways, I always tell the story, the first way that I knew I was quote unquote passing. And if you're watching and you don't know what passing means, it means when you are in a space and people don't realize that you're transgender or you identify under the rainbow, whatever. One of the ways that I knew I was passing was when I had gotten into an argument with a lady at a grocery store. And I was getting louder because she was getting louder. And she started backing up. Yes, I was matching her. I was giving her what she gave me. Come on, Grandma. And so she was clutching her purse and backing up like she was scared of me. And I was like, oh my God, like she's scared of me because she sees me as a Black man, like a Black man. And so immediately my Black skin is weaponized against me. And I was like, oh, like you can't be doing anything like that. So, I've been working hard to, working some of that stuff out in therapy, but that's a really powerful thing to learn that your identity as a Black man in America, like, okay, it wasn't enough that you were a dominant lesbian. Now you've gone out and painted another target on your back. Like you traded one for another.
I was going to ask you about that. Looking at what being Black in America is, and it being a Black man in America, that we're already positioned for all kind of stuff to happen to us. Was that a hard decision? And I know that to be like, okay, I can just stay a stud. I can just stay a super stud, and just live that route, but I'm about to jump over and just take on a male identity, and like you said, the woman now saw you as a Black man as a threat. What made you just say, well, let me go ahead and just jump in the pool with all the other brothers, and if the cops pull me over, it's what it is.
Both did. So first of all, hi Sebastian, hi Titan, hi Ian, hi T, my other brothers watching. And secondly, let me say, it's kind of one of those things that you kind of have like little Easter eggs throughout your life and you can see, but you don't really know until you know. And it was just something that was just eating me up inside. And it was a lot of people view gender transition as a choice. And I guess the short answer is that it kind of is a choice, but for most of us, it's a choice between life and death. And I chose life. I chose to not only live, but to live for me, live in my full authenticity. There was no like final push. It was like, so I'm gonna either do this or I can't go on no more. Like it was really that simple for me.
Okay.
Yeah. And you said something, you kind of skated over it. I don't know if you did it on purpose, but you kind of hit something that we talk about a lot on our show, and it's a very big topic on our show. You said, therapy. You hit it and you left it. And you kind of smiled like, I don't want these Negroes to know I'm in therapy.
Oh, I tell everybody needs a good therapist.
So that's what I'm saying. We're big advocates for that. How is that helping you with your in your life?
Well, first of all, I won't tell the entire story of my transition on.
We got you.
But it was a really important part. and I think it's important for everybody, but especially for trans people, because a big part of transition is loss. And it can be loss of your career, your job, your family, your friends, everything you've known, you can lose it like that. And it's really just it happens that way. And so I knew that before I made any kind of physical transition, social transition, I needed to like just be at one with myself, not even just talk it over and make sure I was doing the right thing, because I knew it was right. I just didn't know how to go about it. One of the reasons my organization actually exists was because there were resources that I needed that I couldn't find. I found my therapist and she's wonderful, but I found her by Googling. There was nowhere I could go and see a list of, whatever. And even once I got my therapist, there was no like, okay, well, this is a group you can go to. The group that she told me to go to was like a 3-hour drive on a Wednesday night. And so I was like, I can't do it. And so that's a few of the reasons that my organization exists. But yeah, therapy is super important because it helps you address all those social things and all of those resources that you might need. She actually referred me to my endocrinologist when I began hormone replacement therapy. I'm trying to think of what else I wanted to say about that. But yeah, and when I was getting ready to begin hormone replacement therapy, we talked through all of the different changes that my body would go through, because some of it's irreversible. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like once you start, you can't undo it. And so those are really important things to know and talk about before, you make a decision like that. There are a lot of trans people who never do hormone replacement therapy. Who can't. And so.
Derek, if you don't mind, can you address gender dysphoria? Someone asked a question about that. Can you explain what gender dysphoria is?
Gender dysphoria. Rather than giving you medical terms, I guess like I could just describe how it feels for me. And I remember before I transitioned, just hearing somebody say my dead name or like she or her, it literally made me feel sick to my stomach.
Really?
Yeah, it literally made me feel sick to my stomach, like physically ill. I remember going places with my birth mother. We were in a movie theater one time and somebody called me like he or sir or something like that. And she was just like, that's a girl. That's my daughter. Like and I was just like, I just wanted to just melt into the floor. I wanted to just die. It feels like a gut punch when you look in the mirror and you don't look like yourself. It makes you physically ill. You can actually feel it.
Because I'm sorry, because I know a lot of young queer youth, and I hope parents are watching. If you have kids in your home, a lot of queer youth, they go through gender dysphoria and they're sick, throughout high school, middle school, whatever, because they don't feel like themselves. And parents will be like, what's wrong with you? Keep putting their daughter in a dress. It's like, well, you're a girl, you're a girl, you're a girl. And she's like, Mom, this is not me. And parents are trying to mold their child into the gender that they feel their child was born into, and the child is resisting. So then you get all this other stuff, these other mental health challenges that are occurring, and I think it's important that we normalize these kind of conversations so the parents will know that there are resources out there that can help them best understand what their child is going through. Because turning a blind eye to your son or daughter that's just telling you, this is not me, that they're not going to take a nap and wake up feeling better. You can't give them a 7-Up and say, drink this, it'll go away. We really got to have these kind of difficult conversations. So Derek, growing up, did you feel like a boy, or were you just a lesbian?
I don't know. Like, that's difficult to say. I feel like for a long time, I couldn't validate my sexual feelings because I was molested. And so I was like, is this real or is this just so it took me a really long time to come to terms with just my sexuality. I felt like, But I always did quote unquote boy things. But to this day, my dad will be like, well, I didn't see any signs of this in you. I don't know. And I look back at my pictures where like my hair is just like slicked back and I look like hell. And I'm like, how could you not know? Like, how did you not know?
You was in
And
pocket.
it's true. I look like hell. And he's just like, I don't know. And yeah, I mean, when I look back on it, I'm like, this just feels so like I just feel so comfortable in my skin like I've never felt before. And when I look back over my life, I'm like, yeah, I don't think I could vocalize it because I don't think I saw my first trans man until I was like well into my teens, and it was Buck Angel on Maury. So, and then I didn't see another one until like until I went to a gay bar when I was like 18. So
Boy, that's better than me. I was in my 30s.
see, you see what I'm saying?
I never knew trans men existed until I was in my late 30s. And I've been partying and clubbing, for a long time. But it wasn't until my late 30s that I was like, wait a minute, what? I know transgender women. I'm like, what do you mean a transgender man? I've never seen one. Like, Donta, yes, you have. No, I have not. What are you talking about? Yes, you have. And I'm like, how is that even possible? So even in my upper 30s, as an openly gay Black man, I was ignorant, to trans men, because all I thought was just transgender women. I was like, what woman? I don't get it. How does that work? And I think that's such a misconception that a lot of people feel that the LGBT community, that we all get each other and that we all just sit around and kumbaya together and share our stories. There is so much, stuff that we don't understand about the next, because we do sometimes live in these pockets, and we don't intermingle like everyone thinks we do or we should.
Absolutely. And what I think is really important is the fact that you just said, I didn't get it. I didn't understand. I didn't this, that, and the third. Like, we have so many people who will be like, oh, I'm doing such and such for trans women. I'm doing such and such for trans men. It's like, but did you put them in a position of leadership so that they could make decisions about that thing? Or did you just go and try to run with their narrative? Because that is more harmful than anything, especially if you really get down to the root of it and you don't understand. Like, if you don't understand, just say that. It's a lot of people. Sebastian Smith is on here. He got a whole consulting agency. Tori Cooper has ABC Atlanta. Chris Avery, who's written so many insurance policies, different things like that, so people could get their surgery for people all over the country, has consulting. Ask us. Sometimes just call us up. We'll talk to you. It's not, and won't even charge you. But sometimes it's worth it for providers, for people that want to provide services to trans people. You have to hire trans people. You got to put trans people at the head of the table in leadership positions. You can't just do it with trans people in mind and think that, oh, this is well enough. I'm giving them a shot. They should be grateful. Here's a slice of pizza. Let me go get my $1 million grant. Hell no. Like, what?
You just shaded the entire
everybody
work out there. That slice of pizza, all I saw was like, here you go. And I think there is a lot of tokenism. There's a lot of tokenism when it comes to it, because even when you put one at the table, it's like you just sit there, don't talk. Just sit
just
there.
Listen.
We need one on our board, on this panel, on this committee, but we already got it mapped out. We just need to have you here to sign off on it. Sebastian, come on the show, Sebastian. We'd love to have you, because again, these are the conversations that I think are rich, and that I think that giving it a 45-minute soundbite is just the tip of the iceberg, because we still have not dug deep. And you talk about intentional ally. What is an intentional ally in your words, Derek?
So intentional ally, a lot of times, and I said this to you before we got on, right? So a lot of times people will just put their pronouns in their signature, right? And that's supposed to let you know, like, oh, I'm a safe person. But then, like, they have no idea how to address you, or if you want to be addressed that way. Well, I'm just gonna call you this because it's easier for me. But that's not. Or you'll go somewhere to a conference or something, knowing that you've been to that conference 5 years in a row. and this trans person has never had the opportunity to go, and you could give up your seat and you would be fine because it's the same thing every year, but maybe this person could make some contacts or something like that if you give them that opportunity. But you like, no, I gotta go because I go every year. You're not being an intentional ally. Being an intentional ally means getting up and giving me your seat at the table. Being an intentional ally is not just like, you know what I'm saying, putting your pronouns in your signature or whatever. Or a lot of people will be like, oh, well, I speak up for people who are voiceless. Empower people to speak up for themselves, because nobody is a better expert at telling my story than me. Real allies empower people, and we can't continue to amen this performative allyship. We have to call it what it is, and we have to give folks a seat at the table. We have to help folks build tables. We have to ask questions when we don't know instead of assuming. Instead of bringing your best friend or the most passable person, you got to bring somebody with substance or something like that. You can't just, you got to be really intentional about your allyship. I think Kiara St. James would say, I don't want allies, I want accomplices, is what she would say.
You broke that down. I mean,
yeah,
that was great.
nice.
And honestly, if you guys look, this is the first time me and Dana's ever showed our pronouns, he, him, his, you know, and we did that, you know, for tonight's show. Just like, well, let's just do it for tonight's show. But you said something that was so profound that I'm looking like, damn, I'm not really being an intentional ally. You know, looking at myself, as much as I think I do, you know, I still have room for growth. You know, and Sebastian, I'm saying it again, Sebastian, friend request me, inbox me, let's make this happen. I would love to have a panel discussion, you know, with all of you to see how we can bridge these gaps, because at the end of the day, we all Black. You know, everything aside, we are all Black, and the only way we're going to change our Black communities is if we're all at the table together. You know, and you're right, Derek, me at the table and you sitting off to the side in a high chair, you know, like, we'll bring Derek in later, but let's solve this first. No, we got to all solve this stuff together. Like Tasha just said, we all have room to grow. Yes. So if you're watching this show tonight and you have learned something on tonight, you have been spanked by Derek, you know, because you ain't no intentional ally, you know, just say ouch and let's keep moving. So Derek, last question. What does the work mean to you?
The work means being intentional about finding out what it is that you're passionate about. Can everybody see me? Because I can only see myself.
Okay. Let me shine. Shine, Derek.
I keep getting big and then small. What's up with that?
We're bringing you to the front. We're bringing you to the front.
No.
You have the stage.
So the work is being very intentional about what it is that you're passionate about and what it is that you do well. Because you may be passionate about something, but you may do something else very well, and then contributing that thing to the movement that is about liberation for our people. So it means doing things, being intentional and being true to yourself, and not doing things out of spite or moving in order to spite somebody else. Like I'm sorry, I'm getting all my words jumbled because I'm like trying to read the comments too, and y'all got me like looking at myself like, what the heck? But thank you.
Own the moment, Derek. Own it.
Oh my gosh. So can you repeat the question? This is a lot for me.
What does doing the work mean to you?
Yeah, it's the work. A lot of times people just say like, oh, when you're in the work, and it'll mean like, you know, in the field of public health or dealing with HIV or you know, being within the transgender community. But I think for me, doing the work is empowering other people, lifting up voices, not just always trying to be in the spotlight. Being intentional about what I'm good at and what I'm not good at, and being comfortable enough to say, hey, I'm not good at this thing. Can you help me out? Which is an area that all of us could grow in. I'm still growing in that area. So those are things to me that encompass the work. But somebody said something way earlier in the comments about trans men being sensitive or something like that.
Oh yeah, that was on YouTube. It was a question that was asking, are trans men as sensitive as trans women? From Tony's experience, you have to watch it when it comes to trans women.
So I don't know what it means as far what they mean as far as being sensitive, but I would say that I think everybody just wants to be respected. And so from my experience, the best way to do that is not necessarily to go up to someone and say, "Hey, what are your pronouns?" Because a lot of times that feels real clocky. But just to, like, if you're in a medical setting, ask someone, "Hey, how do you want to be addressed?" Or how should I address you? Because that could be, you could call me Bill, or you can call me Mrs. Bill, or whatever, but that person is going to let you know in that moment. And then you just respect the person. You just call them what they want to be called. You respect them how they want to be respected. A lot of times in the Black community, what we have is, well, his mama named him James. I'm gonna call him James. I'm not calling him Katie. Like,
Right,
but
right,
why?
right,
Why are you going out of your way to be disrespectful? Just
right.
respect me.
And how is it going to hurt you by calling me what I want to be called?
Right.
You know,
Right.
I get that 100%. I get that 100%. Yeah, but I do know that, and kind of from what Tony was saying, because I've experienced it as well. When I try to learn about the transgender community and all that,
Mhm.
sometimes I'm hit with, well, you should know that, and it's like, well, I don't know. That's why I'm asking. So some people are not made to feel safe in trying to be educated on how to be an ally or how to work with, the community, because, some individuals, and this is the gay community too, some individuals, the wall is just so up and they're so on the defense and so on guard, they don't think you're being authentic in your concern. And I think
And
that's just some people in general, but I've experienced that with transgender persons.
Yeah, and I think it's really important to acknowledge that that's coming from a mindset of, like, they've been hurt by community. It may not necessarily have anything to do with you. So, you know what I'm saying? In my experience, I've had, believe it or not, I've had people snap at me like that too. And my response is always, "Oh, I apologize. I'm sorry that I don't know this, that, and the third." And
Right.
I find that when I respond like that, it's more like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you was throwing shade." Because we are so used to people just
Yeah,
hurting us and
yeah,
harming us. And so instead of just being like, "Well, girl, I just wanted to know. I didn't know what you was getting." Okay,
right. Too
I
much.
apologize. You know what I'm saying? Instead of
Right.
responding with, fighting fire with fire, you have to kind of come back like, "Oh, okay, my bad. I didn't know."
Got it.
You know?
And Derek, last thing before we let you go, talk about Ubuntu. Am I saying it right?
Yes.
Talk about Ubuntu. Do your commercial. You want a big screen? You want to stay with us?
I'm gonna stay with y'all.
Okay.
So Ubuntu Incorporated is my nonprofit organization. We are a trans male-led organization. I'm the executive director / president / CEO / big boss. We have a couple of groups. We have one meeting this Wednesday. It's called Just the Fellas. It meets from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's a group for trans men to come together and we just talk to each other about issues that we're facing, topics, anything like that. We're the Spouses of Trans Individuals, which meets every Wednesday night from 6:30 to 7:30 or 8, something like that, however long they talk. And that is the Spouses of Trans Individuals, but it's specifically the Spouses of Trans Men, wives, girlfriends, whatever. They come together and they really talk about us. We have a few different things that we do called Feed the We. We do lots of different webinars for brothers only. We have one coming up for Trans Day of Visibility. It'll be from 7 p.m. It'll be from 7:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. I don't know, 7 to 8 p.m. Let's just say that, Eastern Standard Time. And Mr. Sebastian Smith will be featured there.
Hey,
Also
Sebastian.
featuring, yes, Miss Tony Bryce, who was on P Valley, and Morgan Rich, who recently spoke for the ACLU. So we'll be having a panel for Trans Day of Visibility. We got lots of things actually coming up. I wish I could just say it all here, but follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Eventually we'll get
I
it up
shared
and
all
going.
your handles on the thread,
Yes.
on the Facebook page. I shared all of Derek's handles, his LinkedIn, everything about Derek. Derek, you have been a phenomenal blessing on tonight. I would love to get you and Sebastian back on to have a more in-depth conversation. We'll work it out. Sebastian, inbox me, friend request me. Let's make this happen. All right. You are definitely a king, Derek. I appreciate you, the work that you are doing, for taking the time out to educate us, in our ignorance, in a loving and healthy way. That's what I appreciate most. It was loving and it was safe. So thank you so much for that. Hey, Derek, any closing comments? We're about to wrap this on up.
Follow us on social media.
Boom. There you go. Give it up for Derek, you guys. Give it up for Derek. Hey.
Peace out.
All right, Dana, we got 30 seconds. Take us out.
Follow me on Instagram at DNA716. Again, that's at DNA716. Follow me on Instagram. Hey, before we get out of here, we got to spread love.
Instead of spreading lies.
We got to spread love.
Instead of spreading lies.
Hey, make sure you reach out to somebody, whether you think they're doing good or not. A little hello, a little love goes a long way. This pandemic is not over. I repeat, this pandemic is not over. Regardless of what you see on TV, you hear on the radio, you hear on the news, it's not over. People are still passing away. People are still committing suicide. People are still losing their minds. Call someone. Let them know you love them. Say hi. It goes a long way. Trust me.
Boom. And make sure to follow me on Instagram, Donta_Morrison, Donta_Morrison on Instagram. Check out all my posts and soon to come videos and all kind of other stuff I'm going to be sharing. Village, we thank you so much. Without the Donta Show Village, we just be two dudes having a conversation. But you're with us every Monday and Tuesday from 8 to 9. And we appreciate you. We love you, respect you. We admire you. And we ask nothing but God's greatness upon your lives. So we'll see you next week. Next week, we have on Monday, we have Vashia Roan, will be our special guest. On Tuesday, we have Cedric Nelms. And if you want a COVID test, make sure to check out Church One Ministries Facebook page. They do COVID testing every Tuesday and Thursday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. All right, Saturday 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Also, if you want to get the COVID vaccine, Church One Ministries is giving the COVID vaccine this Friday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. You must make an appointment. You must make an appointment. To make an appointment, call 562-633-2515. 562-633-2515. Church One Ministries is my church home. We're in the city of Long Beach. Subscribe to the Donta Show on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com/Donta Morrison. Hit that subscribe button. You'll be notified every single time we go live. Like I said, next Monday is Vashia Roan. Next Tuesday is Pastor Cedric Nelms. He's back again. We love Pastor Cedric. All right, so we will see y'all next week. So please, from Wednesday to Monday, stay safe. Wash your hands, wear your mask, socially distance. I don't care what is open. Y'all better not take y'all ass to the movies. Period.
Even if you love the popcorn like I do.
Do not go sit in no theater. And you've been vaccinated, please keep your ass at home. All right, like Dana said, the pandemic is still running rampant. It is not cured. It is not gone. All right. So with that being said, y'all, we love y'all. We mean it. Take care. God bless. We will see you next
week.
Boom.